What's going on, everybody? In this video, I'm going to go over Workhorse. We do have some recent news regarding their drones, and I'm also going to look at what's going on the chart, and we'll also touch on earnings. Earnings is coming up only a few weeks from now. So let's get this video started. If you like these videos, you know what to do, and let's get going. Now, I'll leave this down below for you, but the title is Workhorse Group Advances Aero Business. And there are two kind of pieces of news here. One is that the company was awarded 2 additional USDA grants, and they also talk about the progress in the industry and the FAA collaboration going on. And we'll start off with a quote from the CEO. We're making important progress with our aero business, and the steps we're highlighting today reflect the strength of our technology, our systems, and our people. We have clear growth strategies, and our team is focused on capturing the tremendous opportunities as we work to make last mile delivery more sustainable and more efficient. And John Grabber, the president of the Aero division in Workhorse, said that our Aero team is building safe, reliable, dependable drones, and we have the ability to scale. We've flown thousands of tests over hundreds of hours across numerous aircraft in our fleet. We know what our systems can do, and they can deliver. Now we're going to go over these grants, but first off, let's talk about UPS. Yes, that UPS. The company has entered the FAA, or Federal Aviation Administration's process to put the Horsefly, or the WA4100, on UPS Flight Forward's FAA Part 135 Drone Airline Certificate. And Workhorse Aero is working closely with UPS FF, Flight Forward, and the FAA, and plans to have Horsefly approved for FAA Part 135 operations by the end of 2023. And gaining this FAA approval is the next step in a productive, ongoing collaboration between Workhorse and UPS Flight Forward as the two companies work together to bring safe, capable drone delivery systems to market. Workhorse Aero trained UPS Flight Forward personnel to operate and maintain the drones, and UPS FF's professionals have flown hundreds of successful missions with the Workhorse Aero aircraft. They're not just in talks, they have actually used the product, and they like what they see so far. But it's not just as easy as that. For the FAA to approve the Horsefly for operations on this Part 135 certificate, Workhorse must complete an extensive and demanding flight test program. Flight tests span hundreds of hours over many separate flight tests, using a fleet of aircraft, and must be accomplished satisfactorily, if that's a word. And John Grabber again says that we are pleased that UPS Flight Forward recognizes that our Horsefly drones are safe and reliable, and we are thrilled to take the next step with them. We will work closely with the UPS FF and FAA teams to complete the required flight tests on schedule. Now, I believe that is certainly some big news, and I do think the drones will surprise us in the amount of revenue that they can make over the long term. Most people, when looking at Workhorse, they only think about the last mile delivery vans, and most people just discount the drone saying, oh, it's a side project, we'll see how that goes. But I do think there is some real progress being made there. And as a side note, I'll try to leave you guys a video down below, kind of a conference of people talking about this drone. And they're putting it in high regard, the Workhorse drone, saying that they haven't seen a drone fly so smoothly. I'll try to remember to put that down below for you guys. But next up, let's talk about these grants for these drones going on right now. Over the last month, Workhorse Aero has been awarded 2 additional grants from the USDA for farmland scanning. So this has nothing to do with the potential with UPS. This has nothing to do with last mile delivery. This is a whole different subject. And the total was approximately 1.1 million in additional USDA funding to support agriculturally based applications. This brings the total of USDA for sensor scanning work grants received this year to more than $2 million so far. And John Grabber on this subject says that we continue to see significant growth opportunities in the agricultural markets as government agencies and our partners rely on our drones to capture the data they need to drive their work forward. It's definitely nice to see some money awarded to Workhorse for all their efforts with their drones. And I think a lot of people don't realize how early we are with Workhorse, whether you're talking about drones or their last mile delivery vans. And for those of you that don't know, a while ago they did receive IRS approval so that Workhorse customers are eligible to receive a $40,000 credit for deliveries of all Workhorse vehicles in 2023 and beyond. So for these companies to go to EV, they are getting incentivized to choose a Workhorse vehicle. Of course, there are more vehicles on the list of IRS approved, tax credit vehicles, but it's amazing to see Workhorse a part of that list. And of course, I have previous videos going over their expanded dealership network. More and more dealers in different states are taking Workhorse on. And so far, despite some misses on revenue, despite some hiccups here and there, I am very impressed with these executives, and in my opinion, they truly have been turning Workhorse around. They scrapped the C1000s, they have a whole nother set of vehicles, they are making progress with drones, they're even having money come in from these drones with these grants, and I do believe this is just the beginning. Now, I did want to show you the chart. The chart is extremely bearish. This is extremely high risk, and you'll see these new all-time lows, typically see a dead cat bounce. We can't break over these EMAs, and then we just pull back, create even new lower lows. For that reason, I would be extremely careful with Workhorse. I've heard stories of people going literally all in, all of their portfolio into a stock like this. That is very high risk. I don't recommend that. But in the end, it's your money. Now, I did want to focus on earnings coming up. It is a few weeks away. They're going to be reporting on 7th of November, my birthday month. And they do have an estimate of $22 million. However, they are very well known for missing their estimates quite considerably. Last quarter, they reported $4 million in revenue, which is a miss of nearly $10 million. They had an expectation of almost $14 million in revenue. And it doesn't stop there. The quarter before that, they saw about a $1.7 million reported revenue, and the estimate was nearly $10 million. That's an $8 million miss in revenue. So I don't know if they're just giving these like high-flying estimates, hoping that they get the contracts needed to meet them. But I do think these crazy revenue estimates and them missing them that considerably is not good. I'd rather see some more reasonable estimates that they can more likely hit. So my expectation for now is that we will see a great buying opportunity in November. I'd say it's more likely than not that they're going to miss this revenue expectation. There may be a point in some future quarter where they just start seeing huge revenue growth, seeing a lot of sales of these Workhorse vehicles and dealer networks, seeing a lot more grants coming in, seeing sales, commercial sales of drones. But for now, I have reason to believe they will miss this earnings. They'll miss this revenue expectation. And since they're unprofitable, seeing good revenue growth is really key here. For that reason, I do think we'll have a great buying opportunity in November. You may be looking at this and say, it's so close to its all-time low. This is a great deal. Just realize that's probably what people were saying back here in June in the summer when it was 80 cents. Probably the same thing people were saying when it was about $1.50 back in December of 2022. So just tread carefully. The chart is extremely bearish. I do believe in this company long term, but the chart is very ugly. And you know, you can always take that bet that, hey, this is the bottom here. It wasn't here, it wasn't here, it wasn't here. We might create new lows from here. This might over time prove out to be the all-time low. I would just be careful. There is always a chance that we just see some huge news and we pop out of nowhere and we never see these prices again. But like I said, I would be very cautious, be very careful. Just like with all of these unprofitable small caps. Right now, the Fed is destroying all these small caps that either have to dilute, which shareholders don't want obviously, or they have to raise high interest debt, which is another unfavorable thing. So if you're looking at Workhorse, I would be patient. I would wait until earnings. And if there is an off chance that revenue beats expectations, we see a huge pop from here, well, you could always just buy a very small portion before earnings, keep some money on the side for after earnings. But what's your strategy with Workhorse? Have you just been DCAing throughout the months or years? Do you like to buy during all-time lows? Do you like to buy during run-ups? Are you just waiting for a little bit of a better circumstance, the Fed potentially to start lowering rates? There are definitely a lot of ways to play these small caps. Let me know what you guys are thinking down below. I think this is going to be a very important, very exciting earnings, and of course I'll be tuning into the earnings call. I suggest you do too. Thanks again for watching, guys. I appreciate you, and I'll see you next time.